So I have notes. This is a review for this. Um, that's the spoiler-free review. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Spoiler-free review. Now from this point, it's gonna be an honest review. Full spoilers. There's no way not to do it without any spoilers. There's a couple reminders that I want to do before I get into this. I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget anything. I didn't want to leave anything out. Reminders: you are allowed to like Crescent City. I'm not trying to make you not like Crescent City. You don't have to like what I say. At any point, you can tune out of the video, swipe up, swipe down, swipe wherever you have to go. You don't have to agree with what I have to say. Swipe up, swipe down, do whatever you need to do. You don't have to rate this book the same way I do. 2.5 out of 5. If that's not your rating, if you rated it a 5, if you ignored all the flaws, I do that too sometimes. That's completely fine. That's normal. That's a very normal thing to do with books. Reading is subjective. Some people thought this book was 5 out of 5, most amazing thing in the whole world. I have my books like that. I'm a little delulu every once in a while. You don't have to rate this book the same way I do. I already said that one. You don't need to think that I'm trying to change your mind. I said that a little bit earlier because I really am not trying to change your mind. I'm not going on a tirade like, hey, you need to change your mind about this book. That's not happening. That's not happening. I'm not Delulu. I don't think I can change your mind. I don't. So, why am I making a review for this? And the reason is I paid for this book. So I paid for the book, I paid for the audiobook, and I paid for the Kindle version because I thought this was going to be the one. I thought House of Flame and Shadow was going to be the one. I thought it was going to be the book where we finally get a Fury storyline, where we finally get her lineage, and where we get a competent Hypaxia storyline, and we're gonna have more of her. And maybe that is my fault because this is all about Bryce. This is all about Bryce, and it's also about every single person that doesn't exist besides Bryce. So let's say just name a random person and go. Just start saying a bunch of random things and storylines and say how they connect to Throne of Glass, say how they connect to Akatar, and you have this book. You have this book. And people will fight me. They'll be like, it was worth it. All the info dumps were worth it because it confirmed everything that I had to say. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm just going to go through my notes because I have a lot to say. I didn't memorize anything because it's like, too heated. I'm just too heated about this. So pages 268 to 554 could have been cut. It would have been the same storyline. There's a whole middle section that didn't have to be there. There's a lot of info dumping that didn't have to be there. It could have been condensed. I don't know if Sarah J. Maas has an editor for these books because I feel like with the Crescent City, they're the biggest offenders of info dumping. And it's very frustrating. It's really very frustrating. Spoiler, scroll away, come back another day. You probably already scrolled away at this point. I'm probably just yelling alone. Oh well. That ending scene where they revive Bryce, it reminded me of Resand. When they were reviving Resand, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. I was tripping. I was like, "There's no fucking way. I've seen this before." And then the Deus Ex Machina amulet. This one I'm 50-50 because I was like, "Okay, now I know how she got back to Midgar because that amulet was the amulet that got her back to Midgar, and like maybe it was also her powers, but that amulet got her back to Midgar, and Jessica gave it to her. So like, oh my god, that's super cute. But at the same time, it's basically a Deus Ex Machina because you're explaining the Archesian, whatever its name is, amulet in the first book. And then instead of using an example that it shows you that it could get you back to Midgar, besides like the vague example of her making it back to Midgar and like making it a little bit more like in your face, it just feels like a deus ex machina where it's like, oh yeah, well, you died, I gave up my life for you, bye bye. Like everybody gives up their life for Bryce. It's like um Lydia's children, Lydia's random ass children. Did we need that storyline? No, that's in one of those pages that I told you where this whole middle area could have been cut out. That was one of the things. I don't think we needed it. It added emotional value, if you could say. But I feel like if we're gonna introduce kids, do it when you introduce the character or have it at some point revealed, and then like it makes it more impactful if you have her in a really sticky situation where her kids get stolen and you completely forget, oh my god, she has kids. Like if they introduce the kids in the second book and then you're like, oh my god, she has her kids got stolen. Oh my god, that's crazy. Like make the audience forget a little. Let them forget a little. Well, I mean, you're already making them forget everything with the info dumps, but like make them forget that the kids exist, and then you go, yeah, they were stolen from you, we ended up finding your kids. Not introduce kids in the third, we're in the finale, why are we introducing characters? Call it a day, wrap it up. Add a bonus chapter, come out with the special edition of the second book, add a bonus chapter where Lydia has kids, and introduce it like that. I mean, we're already adding like what, 10 bonus chapters that aren't even a part of the book? That aren't even a part of the book. Somebody told me in my comments, they said, oh, the bonus chapters explain more of Bryce's motive for one of the scenes in the book. And I'm like, I didn't get that book. Was I supposed to get all 10? Was I supposed to read the books? Like, was I supposed to read this shit online when she didn't include it for free on her website? Look, say what you want to say about Rebecca Yarros, but she made it very clear. When she came out with her special edition of Fourth Wing, she put that on her website. She put that extra story, whatever, however many chapters there were, she put that on her website. It's about accessibility. It's about, hey, these people already paid for. If you're like me, you paid for the audiobook, you paid for the Kindle, and you paid for this. And then now we have to pay more for the bonus chapters? You want me to buy every single one, or do you want me to like ask people around for the bonus chapters? Like I want to make friends online too, but I don't want to make friends by asking for the bonus chapters for this. This is just going to be like an annotations video at this point because I'm going to go through everything. Like this is a review, but like I'm going to go through as much as I possibly can. I wrote notes, and it's just, this is how much this book made me frustrated. I don't know what part this is going to be. I don't know if this is going to be part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, but we don't know yet. Now that I've calmed down a little, this was definitely either a money grab from the publishers, or the publishers didn't want to edit an 800-page book down to 500 pages, because there are 300 pages of this book that could easily be whittled down. They could be turned into different books. They can be made into novellas. Did we need all of this? No, we didn't. We're in the finale. We're in the finale. There might be more books. There might not be. I don't know. I personally, you've lost me on this one. Am I going to continue to read the Akatar books? Yeah. But am I going to continue to read Crescent City? I don't think so. I don't think so. In like a year or two, when the next one comes out, you'll be hearing an apology video of me whining and complaining that I'm reading Crescent City 4 or whatever it is going to be. You know what this book felt like? It felt like the Resident Evil movies. Like, I loved Resident Evil. It felt like the Fast and Furious movies, too. They kept pumping them out, and you kept watching it because you're like, they came out with another Resident Evil, another Fast and Furious. It's the same formula. I'm just going to watch it. I'm just going to enjoy it. It's my favorite thing. And you finish it, and you're just like, that wasn't the best one. There have been other good ones, and that really wasn't their best, but you still come back because you're like, well, it's the formula. I like the formula, like kind of thing. You know what I mean?